Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your news edition. These are the headlines. On the sidelines of the Intra-African Trade Fair, Algeria seals important economic agreements. The national industry is on a constant path of development. In this edition, we'll discover the magic factory that ensures a high-quality production. In Gaza, the humanitarian situation keeps worsening. In addition to daily attacks, the Zionist entity keeps using famine as a weapon. And a political crisis in France, as Bayrou's government will face the vote of confidence. Welcome back. On the sidelines of the Intra-African Trade Fair, Algeria sealed one of its most important economic agreements, a $480 million partnership between GISB Electric and Sogelux, combining massive exports and industrial investments. The deal paves the way for a stronger Algerian presence in West Africa's growing markets. Details with Daniel Bahri.
The Intra-African Trade Fair isn't just a showcase event or a space to present products, but goes beyond that to serve as a genuine starting point for tangible trade flows through the signing of agreements that are immediately executable, as well as short-term deals. With a value of $100 million, Suez Electric Algeria signed an export contract to supply its products to Côte d'Ivoire, and with a value of $480 million, a partnership was concluded between GICB Electric Group and Sogelux, active in Côte d'Ivoire and Senegal, to export Algerian electrical equipment to West African countries. The signing comes within the framework of political will, both in Senegal, to develop local industry and to strengthen intra-African trade. It's in this context that Mr. Koubibi and I began discussions to explore how our companies could contribute to this development. We have a two-phase partnership. First, an industrial partnership involving an investment of around $180 million to set up two factories, one in Senegal and one in Côte d'Ivoire. Since Sogelux operates in 14 countries, the supply of raw materials will come from Algeria, and the expertise will also be Algerian. These agreements show that the fair recognizes only the language of numbers, and that the development of African trade can only be achieved through partnerships in various sectors. The Algerian pharmaceutical industry set a ceiling of $400 million in signed contracts, while a trade agreement between the Algerian company Antella and Nigeria's Moriphone's electronic technology reached $300 million to export 2 million digital payment devices to Nigeria.
The Afreximbank Pavilion, and this is basically the Intra-African Trade Fair 2025, where we've invited all countries from Africa. We've got about 48 countries that have taken country pavilions, and this is an opportunity for buyers and sellers to meet and share trade and market information, and there are a lot of opportunities that will be realized from this trade fair. We are targeting about 44 billion United States dollars in terms of trade and investment deals, and I believe that there are also very good opportunities for Algerian companies, especially those that are in the construction sector, in the energy sector, as well as in the transportation sector, even agricultural sector. I know some companies here in Algeria manufacture some agricultural equipment that can be exported to other African countries. There are a lot of financial institutions that are based here in Algeria that can actually maybe move and set up the branches in other African countries. It could be in Nigeria, South Africa, Zambia. So the opportunities at this trade fair are enormous. It's an exciting opportunity to actually make the AFCFTA dream a reality, because the IATF is the marketplace for the AFCFTA.
We have successfully signed several agreements with our partners in Africa, which represents a major step towards strengthening our exports and expanding our presence across the continent. These agreements reflect a genuine commitment to build strong and promising economic partnerships, serving as concrete examples of how African nations can work together to foster integration, strengthen trade, and drive sustainable development across the continent.
The acting Prime Minister, Sifi Riyab, received this Sunday at the government's palace the Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition of the Republic of South Africa, Park Stoll, who is visiting Algeria in the context of the participation of his country in the IATF. It was the occasion to reaffirm the strategic and privileged aspect of the friendship and cooperation relations between Algeria and South Africa. The two parties also discussed the perspectives to reinforce the bilateral partnership in various sectors. And the Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition of South Africa was also received by the State Minister, Minister of Energy, Mines and Renewable Energy, Mohamed Arqab. It was the occasion to discuss the ways of reinforcing the exceptional cooperation relations between Algeria and South Africa in the sectors of energy, mines and renewable energy. The two parties consider that the relations between the two countries are historical and strong. They also reaffirmed their devotion to strengthen the bilateral partnership by implementing the results of the visit of the South African President to Algeria in 2024. And the Intra-African Trade Fair is a platform to turn political discourse into concrete projects, with 2,000 exhibitors expecting investment deals, beginning with new air links between African countries. Amina Zahfouf and Najah Diyar.
The Intra-African Trade Fair, and for several days now, has been bringing together Algerian, African and international companies under one continental stage, with the goal of strengthening connectivity, trade and the continent's economic integration, with strong focus on the African ambitions. It is very important to develop transport infrastructure in order to reduce costs and avoid having to rely on countries outside the African continent, such as Europe or the United States. One of the challenges we must address is easing border crossings. At present, they create additional costs for economic operators. We need to streamline and facilitate the trade flows from Southern Africa to Eastern Africa. Algeria is intensifying its push to dismantle the intra-African trade and investment barriers, driving regional integration with greater urgency. Central to this strategy is the rapid expansion of air links, as the country seeks to position Algiers as a pivotal aviation hub for the continent. This is an important opportunity for us today to access the Algerian market and vice versa. There is already a direct air link between our two countries. This partly provides a solution to the logistical challenges between the West Africa and North Africa. Here in this fair, we are presenting our products to different Algerian companies. For us, the most important priority today is to distribute our products in Algeria, as we have already done in markets such as the United Arab Emirates and the United States. I have brought interest in certified and 100% natural products. I am here today looking for distributors in Algeria to market my products. With more than 2,000 exhibitors gathered, the fourth edition of the Intra-African Fair is set to open the door to an estimated $2 billion in trade and investment opportunities.
And we take you now to an important pole of the national industry, the Mahdi factory located in the heart of Riba Industrial Zone. Thanks to its experience and modern equipment, the factory has been able to guarantee a production that meets the national demand. More details with Ania Al-Bahri.
Located in the heart of Riba Industrial Zone, the public company Maji, a pioneer in manufacture of metal tanks, is one of the flagships of the mechanical and metalworking industry in Algeria. With more than 90 years of experience, the company has become a leading force in the industrial sector. The company provides a diverse range of equipment, including storage and fuel tanks, LPG tanks with naphtha, metal silos, drilling sector tanks, and mobile fuel stations. But the company is looking even further. Its new strategy is taking shape with a unique project, the manufacture of the very first three-phase separator in Algeria, a piece of equipment currently nearing completion, set to revolutionize the national energy sector. The first separator produced in Algeria was manufactured by Magi in collaboration with Sonatrach company. This cutting-edge equipment will separate crude oil into three essential components: crude oil, gas and water extracted from oil fields. Behind this feat, a wealth of human resources, qualified teams who ensure precision and rigor to deliver a reliable and certified high-quality product. The process begins with the plans provided by the company's design office. Then comes the cutting, preparation, assembly, welding, then a second assembly phase before moving on the paint shop. Between production diversification and innovation, Majir Biba asserts more than ever its position as strategic player serving the national economy.
Palestine now. In Gaza, the humanitarian situation keeps worsening. The Palestinian health authorities announced on Sunday the death of 5 Palestinians, including 3 children, after suffering famine. 14 others have been murdered by the Zionist occupation forces, and tens of others have been seriously injured. The death toll keeps increasing. Since the 7th of October 2023, 64,368 Palestinians have been killed and 162,367 others have been injured. And in France, a few hours before the vote of confidence at the National Assembly, the Prime Minister François Bayrou finds himself at the heart of political storm. His 2026 budget adjustment plan is being challenged by a determined opposition. Najah Tiyar with the details.
Confronted with united opposition and disastrous polls, François Bayrou faces a mounting pressure with his government just few hours before the crucial vote of the confidence at the National Assembly. The French Prime Minister has taken the government's responsibility on a drastic budget adjustment plan for 2026 with more than 44 billion euros in cuts, a risky gamble as the majority and opposition parties have already announced that they will vote against it.
Là, ce que nous propose M. Bayrou, c'est pas quelque chose
What Bayrou is proposing does nothing to help people who are struggling. Every time we talk about raising wages, for example, we are told it's not possible, that there is no money. The Prime Minister is signing decrees to make people pay for hospital transport, but when it comes to signing a decree to raise the minimum wage, suddenly it's not possible.
Et par contre, signer un décret sur l'augmentation du SMIC, c'est pas possible.
The French streets are already showing signs of anxiety, with looming political instability shaking the economy and raising fears of a lasting blow to France's attractiveness. At the center of the storm, François Bayrou has flooded the media in a last attempt to rally opinion, but failure in tomorrow's confidence vote is widely seen as inevitable. A defeat would force his resignment, leaving France facing 2 uncertain paths: the appointment of a new prime minister or early legislative elections. Either outcome risks ushering a new era of political turbulence. The nation now stands at a decisive turning point, with its immediate future hanging on the National Assembly's vote.
And with this, we come to the end of our edition. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Have a good night.